Hey, good morning, Thresholds. Good morning, members, family. Today is April 1st. All right, we made it. We're in a new month. So hope you're well and safe today. I wanted to talk about getting better sleep, tips for better sleep today. Good sleep habits are also known as sleep hygiene. And during this time, this difficult time, this crisis, I'm sure a lot of people out there's sleep is affected. Either we're sleeping less, we're having trouble falling asleep, whatever it may be. But that being said, I will also say this. I personally believe this, and I'm sure a lot of mental health experts would agree that a good night's sleep is critical for our mental health as well as physical health, but it's the one thing that I think we can do as people to manage our symptoms. That's how should I put this? It's non-invasive. If we can, it's one of the easiest things we can do on our own. It's not always easy if we're losing sleep, but it has the biggest impact. I'll say that. It has the biggest impact on our mental health, either if we're getting enough sleep or we're getting too little. So let's get right into it. Again, I've already been talking about this. Lack of sleep can seriously magnify feelings of unhappiness or depression and anxiety, just like a good night's sleep can provide you with the foundation you need to just get through the day sometimes. So I read that from a little article I printed about self-care. Also, I did some research on this. Actually, the first thing I came across was actually from the CDC, the Center for Disease Control. And they have a page on tips for better sleep. So here's their tips. It's got about five tips here. The first one is be consistent. Go to bed at the same time each night and get up at the same time each morning, including on the weekends. The next tip is make sure your bedroom is quiet, dark, relaxing, and at a comfortable temperature. I've heard things about this before in the past. Having it a little bit cooler, like maybe set your thermostat between like 65 and 69. A little bit cooler does relax the body a little bit. But if you're not comfortable with that, just make it comfortable for yourself. Here's another tip. Remove electronic devices such as TVs, computers, and smartphones from the bedroom. Now, thinking about that, I know most of us probably have TVs in our bedroom. Maybe we have it in our living room, but that seems like a very invasive type of treatment. But if you're staying up watching TV at night, you're just not going to sleep. There are people that say, okay, I fall asleep with the TV on, and that's okay. But keep in mind that we probably won't be getting our full of sleep, even if our eyes are closed with the TV on. Definitely take the cell phone out if your cell phone is right by your bed. If you're sleeping at night with your cell phone in bed, your tendency is going to be to wake up or to keep looking at that cell phone device. It emits a type of light also that is very unhealthy for our brain, actually. There's been research that shows that. Another tip, avoid large meals, avoid caffeine and alcohol before bedtime. And finally, the tip here, get some exercise. Being physically active during the day can help you fall asleep more easily at night. Now, one thing I'll say about those last two, we should, as members, we've been told before it's not healthy to indulge in any substances, alcohol, drugs, or anything before bedtime. It's even worse. I'll just encourage you to avoid that stuff. It's not going to help your sleep. And finally, for exercise, I know a lot of people out there, including myself, we're getting the tendency, we want to think, oh, I don't even want to go outside sometimes. We're afraid of this virus going around, just a lot of fear. But as I've said before, having hope overcomes that fear. Hope is just as contagious or more contagious than this virus. So having hope, we can do more active things. Just be active. The guidelines are saying stay at home, but they're still saying go outside, take a walk if you need to. Just take a walk around the block. That's being physically active. And you can do that throughout the day. It's good to get sunshine, and it's going to help your sleep at night. So another website I found about sleep hygiene is called sleepeducation.org. So this is an entire website that's devoted just to sleep hygiene. And they have sort of a similar page about healthy sleep habits. Again, having a daily routine. They have a link for a sleep diary. You can do that, which can help you understand how your routines affect your sleep. And a lot of times, some of us have done cognitive behavioral therapy or CBT, and even in therapy, they're learning about how sleep affects us. I will follow up with some of their tips. We talked about some of these: consistent sleep schedule. Set a bedtime that is early enough for you to get at least 7 hours of sleep. That's the recommended hours. Don't go to bed unless you are sleepy. So if you're wide awake, it's going to be hard to fall asleep. And it says if you don't fall asleep after 20 minutes, get out of bed. Maybe do some activities to try and stimulate you to, not stimulate, that's the wrong word, but to try and encourage you to relax a little bit. And we'll talk more about that in a little bit. It says use your bed only for sleep. Only for sleep or sex. If you are involved with a partner, that's fine, but use it for only those two activities. Don't be like watching TV, as we've said before, in bed. Try not to eat in bed. Try not to be doing like homework and all your major work while you're in bed. That's why they call it a bed. It's for sleeping. Limit exposure to bright light in the evenings. Again, we talked about that. The cell phone itself emits a certain type of light that actually is unhealthy for the brain. That being said, cell phones do have a setting on them where you can limit it's like a blue light filter, I believe, or something. Again, turn off electronic devices at least 30 minutes before bedtime. What other tips? And reduce your fluid intake before bedtime. We talked about avoiding caffeine and alcohol, but in general, you want to just reduce your fluid intake. The reason behind that is we're going to have to wake up and go to the bathroom at some point if we're too full with liquid. Some other things I wanted to talk about. This is a big subject right now, so this is going to be a longer video, but we'll keep at it. There's also apps. If you have access to a smartphone, a couple good apps to have. One is called Calm, C-A-L-M. It's a great app for not only for sleep, but for meditation in general. You can play a lot of short little clips. They have nature sounds, bird sounds, rain. You can listen to the rainfall, and that's going to help relax us at night or anytime we want to relax. One of my coworkers, Phyllis, she mentioned that on iHeartRadio they have podcasts, and one of them is like old-time radio shows. Sometimes a soothing voice will help us fall asleep quicker. One of the things they have on this website, sleepeducation.org, they actually have bedtime stories. And there's actual bedtime stories for adults. And finally, this is of important note, there is going to be a TED Talk, a live TED Talk later on Wednesday today. Is called Why Sleep Matters Now More Than Ever. There's been a lot of newer TED Talks, specifically regarding the crisis we're in with the virus, the coronavirus, ways to cope and stress. So this should be a good one. It's going to be on TED Talk, and it's going to be by a guy named Matt Walker. So please check it out. And that's it for today, members. I wish you well and hope you're safe. Take care.